Hi there. Thank you once again for joining me in this episode of June's Journey. So this is June's Journey Hidden Objects. So we'll just continue playing. So just to recap, the actual parents of the girl on the bottom right, whose name is Virginia, have been murdered. So the father, whose name is Harry, was found having shot himself after having shot his wife, Claire, the mother of Virginia. And so Virginia's aunt, June, who is the sister of Claire, is now investigating the cause of this murder. And the police think that it seems that Harry shot Claire and then shot himself, but that it's very hard to accept that he should do such a thing, as they were a very loving couple and a lovely family. So after some investigations, we have found perhaps some clues. We have found a muddy footprint in the actual room where the two of them were murdered, and we found a muddy footprint as well outside the garden, beyond the back garden gate. So it looks like there might have been a third person, because there were 3 glasses of whiskey poured out. And on the actual footpath of the back garden, there is a smashed carafe, or a smashed decanter of whiskey. So it looks like some perpetrator or some third person who was present in that room was escaping. So the plot thickens. So let's continue. And while we're waiting for the game to load, just to mention that all this takes place on a lovely island called Orchid Island. So that the house is like a grand estate situated on the island, and there is a wooden chapel nearby. And as well as that, there are lovely beaches and mountains. So here's the island. So if we connect now, we get 2 bars of energy. We can play across devices or back up the progress. So I think we'll give this a miss. But here is Virginia, and she's looking slightly sad, isn't she? Poor thing. So this is the island where the lovely mansion is situated. So close by we've got some lovely piers and some lovely beaches, and here is a cargo ship. So where are we, do we think? So this is an island, so presumably they're somewhere in North America. So would this be on the west coast or on the east coast? So as regards the bridge, would it be leading somewhere, perhaps in New England, somewhere like in Maine, or perhaps Vermont, or Massachusetts, or New Hampshire, or somewhere like that? Or would it be on the west coast, leading to somewhere like Washington State or Oregon? So we're not too sure. So here we have a lovely green present. So we'll just tap on it. And so this is our daily delivery of milk, a pint of milk, and we get a prize with it. So let's claim it. So we get 15 thunderbolts, or 15 bolts of energy, sorry. So we get 15 bolts of energy, and we get another one tomorrow as well. So that's lovely. So here is the fountain that we added yesterday, and behind that, out of view, is the bush. So what we learnt is that in order to progress to the next scene, we need to have sufficient number of flowers, which are these ones on the top left here, these pink 5-petal flowers. Once we have enough of those, then we can proceed to the next scene. But prior to that, we need to have accomplished 5 stars per scene before we can move ahead. So let's move on to the next scene. So this is the wooded lane. So is this the wooded lane beyond the back of the gate, back of the garden? Does the garden gate at the back lead out to this wooded lane? So just now we were looking over the house, and there were clouds covering around the back of the house. So I'm just wondering, are there woods around the back of the house that the clouds were covering? So let's tap on the play button and continue. Because even though we took a general view of the coastline of the island, and we found some lovely features such as the lovely beaches and there's a biplane and a lovely deserted house on the hill. Much of it was still covered under the clouds, so I think there's lots and lots of the island yet to be explored. So here we have conversation between Virginia and her aunt. And Virginia is saying, "I don't understand. Why didn't the police notice these things? How could they think my father would kill my mother?" And Aunt Jude's saying, "I imagine that when you see so many murders, it's easy to think the worst of people. But we knew Claire and Harry, so we can see things differently." Okay, so let's start. We need to find clues. Just like in the previous one, we found clues regarding the smashed carafe or decanter of whiskey, and also the muddy footprint. So what clues are we going to find in this scene? So first of all, we have the owl, which is on the top right. The basket. Is there a basket? So is that a raven or a crow? So what's the difference between a raven and a crow? Okay, so here's the bloody handkerchief. So could that have been Claire's handkerchief, possibly? The crow, so that's a crow up there. And what about the basket? And shoes. And as we discussed last time, these words kind of light up when we are close by to the object that we're looking for. So as regards the basket, so it gets brighter as we approach it. So is that the basket in the middle? And then the wheel. So the wheel is lit up, so that means we're quite close to the wheel. So is this the wheel? And a saddle. So if we just perhaps move around, it'll light up as we approach the saddle. Oh, there it is in the middle. So this is the first clue from the scene, the bloody handkerchief. So I'm presuming that could be Claire's handkerchief. And June is saying, "A handkerchief, and there's blood on it." And Virginia's saying, "It's not my father's. He's embroidered with his initials, a gift from his mother." And June's saying, "The killers, then, were on the right trail." They must have been panicking, though. They were sloppy and left several clues. So it's not Virginia's father's, it's not Harry's. So it could be the murderers. Bloody handkerchief. So we now have 25 gold coins and some bricks and 10 gold coins. The pickaxe, the one in the middle, the watering can, the one there in the middle, the shoes, just slightly to the right, the apple, that one there on the bridge, the well in the distance in the middle, the wicker bottle. Is that the one on the left? The rope, just by the crow at the top, the rat on the bridge over here. So we now have 29 gold coins. The sack. So where's the sack? Okay, is that the sack of coins spilled all over the bridge? The pickaxe in the middle, the owl on the right, the mailbox. The mailbox. Is that the one on the left on the tree? The sack. So there was the sack of gold coins, but is there another sack somewhere else? So what if we zoom in and search around for the sack? So at the moment we're quite far from the sack, but as we move to the right, we're still quite far. So what if we move to the bottom, lower down? Okay, so it's now lighting up, so getting closer. Oh, there it is, at the foot of the bridge. The rope that was by the crow, the potted plant right in the middle, the horseshoe. So if we just move around, we're getting closer. So there it is. And we'll continue playing, I think. The windmill in the distance, the pumpkin in the middle, the wicker bottle on the left, the crow on the left at the top, the horseshoe. Did we not find the horseshoe last time? So where was it? The mailbox is on the left on the tree. The knife, the rat is in the middle on the bridge. The hammer is on the left by the bridge. So where is the knife? Okay, so it's there on the right. And we'll just continue until we get to 5 stars. The saddle is there, and the coins, the owl, the bat in the middle, at the top, the shears. So where are the shears? So if we zoom in, and then we move around, and wait for the shears, the word, to light up. So that'll help us find where it is. Oh, there it is. And the apple, and the mailbox, and the ring, the hammer, and June is now saying, strange that the killer would have come this way. I don't see any tire tracks or other evidence of a getaway car. And Virginia's saying, what about the gatehouse at the end of the lane? No one uses it. So there's a gatehouse at the end of the lane. So is that it? Is that the gatehouse? In the distance? Not too sure. Light in the window. That one. The key. On the bridge. The owl. On the right. The rope. By the crow in the middle. At the top. The compass. There it is. The horseshoe. The horseshoe I think is on the right. The saw. The saw is just in the middle by the lamp. The log pile in the distance, the playing card on the bridge, the mushroom on the right. So we found another clue, the light in the window. So June's saying, there's a light on. Presumably, it's June and Virginia who are doing the investigating around this wooded lane. And Virginia's saying, what does that mean? Do you think the killer's still inside? I don't know, but you should stay back just in case. No, if the person who killed my parents is there, I want to confront them myself. Fine, but I say the word, run back to the house as fast as you can. So this could be dangerous, approaching the house where the murderer lives. Sack. So there's the one in the middle, the saddle, the windmill in the background, the ladder. So that's the one just at the very far back there, by the house. The shears. So where are the shears? So if we now zoom in to search for the shears, so they're on the left, the log pile, which which is in the background, the horseshoe, which is on the right, the web, there it is in the middle, the chimney. Is that the chimney on the house? Yes, it is. The skull. Is there a skull somewhere? If we just move around, there it is. Is that the skull of a goat? Possibly. So, we now have some rewards. The coins on the bridge, the basket, the shears on the left, the pine cones. So where are the pine cones? So shall we zoom in and just move around until the word lights up? So we're quite near the pine cones now. So there they are the mushroom, the lock. So the key is there. So is the lock close by? Yes, it is. The bat. The handbag. So if we move around until the word handbag lights up, then we know we're close by. So it's now lit up, so, oh, there it is, just by the hat in the middle. The diary. Is it this one on the right in leather? The skull. This one here. And the saw. The windmill at the back. The watering can. The horseshoe. The cat. The log pile. The playing card, which is the ace of spades. The handbag. The bat. The diary. The lock. Perfect. So does it mean we've now scored the 5 stars? Brilliant. So we've got the 5 stars, so we can move on. But do we have enough pink flowers to move on to the next scene? Okay, so for that, we needed to have gone back to the island, the other button rather than the play button. But let's complete this one now that we're here. So the key, the saddle, the potted plant, the cat, the rope, the web, the skull, the diary, the chimney, the mushroom. So this time we need to remember to tap the button. I think it was the kind of brassy looking one on the left. Because each time we need to go back to the island, to the overview of the island, and then tap on the arrow to move on to the next scene. So let's go back to the island. So it says you can earn flowers by decorating your island. So we need to have enough sufficient flowers in order to go on to the next scene. So at the moment we have 57 more flowers. So if we wish to go to the next scene, then normally we need to tap on this arrow on the bottom right. So the clues here are the blooded handkerchief and the light in the window. So it looks like we can play the next scene. So we can move on to the next scene, which is the gatehouse. So that house with the light on, presumably that is the gatehouse. So we can play the gatehouse by tapping on the play button on the left. Okay, so while we're here, I think this is a good spot just to take a break. So we'll continue in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it entertaining and enjoyed it. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely day.